Welcome back to the Renegade Report. I'm Francis Mayer, Sports Information Director for the greatest athletic department in the known universe. And regardless of what the Large Hadron Collider reveals to us, and we may find that there's parallel universes. Who knows? Time may stop as we know it. The world may turn inside out. We don't know yet. But one thing is for certain. They're not going to find a better community college athletic program out there in the universe. Right now we're talking to Eric Wood. Eric is part of the very successful Bakersfield College swim team. And Eric, we were just talking about your hijinks on skateboards. And you were telling us that when you were 11, when you were swimming as an 11 to 12-year-old, you were up in Fresno.
Yeah, and I was holding my friend's skateboards while they were doing stuff, and I decided to ride one, and I fell into a curb, and it just smashed my sternum. And
fractured?
Fractured, yeah. It was a hairline fracture, but it felt like I just got hit. And long story short, there was a doctor on campus who was an MD, or on the pool deck who was an MD, one of the fathers of the kids that was there, and he gave me an X and tape, just like that, in white tape. He's like, that's the best I can do. I was like, okay. So I just swam 3 more days like that. And I had, I think, IMs. I was an IM swimmer, so I had butterfly. That's a whole lot of this.
And how did you do?
Well, I actually didn't do too bad. I just sort of did it.
Do you find, Eric, that there's a certain stupidity in the athlete?
Yeah, you have to be kind of dumb to just hurt yourself on purpose.
Right, and there's also, like, I have daughters, right? I have a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old, and my wife and I, we have this debate because we just had a boy. Mm. And she's just like, oh, my God, don't do this to him. Because my eldest, like, I have this suck it up ethos, right? Like, dig deep and suck it up. You're fine.
Yeah,
it's
put
not
the man in human.
Yes. Yeah. And I remember my daughter was like 6, and she wrecked really hard. She was climbing a tree, and the dismount was terrible.
Wow.
And I watched her land. Like, there was a sound. You know when somebody really eats it. And I run over there, and my wife was like, oh, my God, are you okay? And my daughter sits up, and she goes, oh, I'm fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
And I watched her like swallow and stuff her emotions and fight these tears back. And I was like, oh no, I did that. That's not good, you know?
That's how my dad was. I mean, one time my grandpa has a campground up in California Hot Springs. It's called Quail Valley.
Oh, okay.
And it gets very dark at night. And I had a childhood friend of mine. He goes to Taft High School. His name is Tari. And he would drive his grandpa's and grandma's golf cart around the campground, at night, and we'd just hang out.
And by the way, how old was he?
Oh, this was we were 16.
Oh, okay.
16.
I was going to say, in rural communities, it's really common for like someone who's old enough to reach the pedals of a car to be allowed to
I was
drive
driving tractors, and I drove a tractor one time, and then I drove the trash truck, which is a big dually, big Ford, long bed.
Right. From property to property or whatever.
Well, just around the park, up a hill, down a hill, down a path, like the wide, as wide as the truck. Pretty scary.
Yeah. So he's driving the golf cart around.
He's driving the golf cart.
And it's dark as dark.
It's dark. And there's a trailer at the end of one of the roads, and it has a big spotlight on the road. And that's it. And so there's a circle about 15 feet in diameter, and it's just there on the road. And I'm standing in it. And I have my cousin with me. We were looking for Tari at that point. We couldn't find him, and he was supposed to meet us there at 10. It was like 10:15 or something. And I hear gravel crunching somewhere. I can't really, I was like, where am I? It was dark. And all of a sudden, I remember I see like a red flash, which was the color of his cart, actually. And I just remember waking up on the ground. And apparently he hit me and then ran me over. And then when he stopped, I just sat there for like 10 seconds, knocked out. And I woke up, and I sat like straight up like a vampire, just screaming, as hard as I could. And I was like, I was freaked out. I bruised, I think Radius and the Ulna are these two. I don't remember.
Sure.
Just one of the two.
Ulna and Radius.
I got them right there on the outside. I bruised some ribs, busted my head open, got ran over. So smashed. And in the morning, we looked at the cart, and I had collapsed the canopy. So the bar that connects the canopy to the chassis, I'd actually bent that in with my dome, and then as he ran me over, my hand had grabbed onto the hood, and I saw my handprint and like a drag mark all the way down as he ran me over. So yeah, I mean, he was probably going 20 because it's like right behind the the hill he was going down. It was a pretty steep incline,
dude.
So I just got wrecked.
Anatomy of an accident.
Pretty much, and that was like the exact same as your daughter stood up. Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like a lot of times, athletes aren't okay. But the sports that we choose, especially when it's an endurance sport. It is about sustained energy. It is about ignoring the little nagging pain.
Oh, yeah.
And my wife would say that pain is the body's way of telling you something. Mm-hmm. But I have always thought of pain as being that that friend that won't shut up. Like, what if we get caught? Like, dude, shut up. Like, be quiet. Enough with you. Like, pain will let you know when it's really bad. But I'm not so sure that that's the healthiest method of emotional management. I know that it behooves a person in athletics, but I'm not so sure, like, down the road if it's the best thing. I mean, time will tell. But also, I think that today there's a lot of young people who have a problem with not getting a payout to something right away. Then they don't see the point of doing it. And I think that's what your coach is talking about when he refers to, is it, God, I'm going to get the first name wrong, and it's going to sound obscene. Please tell me. What, Soft? Freddie Soft.
Freddie Soft.
Yes.
Soft.
I was going to say Peter Soft or something like that, but no, it's Freddie Soft. Okay.
Peter Soft.
Yes. No, it's Freddie Soft. Okay. But the point about Freddie Soft is not necessarily ignoring acute pain, but ignoring the pain of, God, get out of the pool. This sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it really is just getting over, your personal sort of, fuel meter. Your body, you can go for a lot longer than you feel you can. And one of the things that swimmers are really good at is reaching that ceiling and then pushing up and then trying to get back there again. It's like hitting, it's like seeing the perfect emerald, and then you lose it forever, and you can't ever find one just like that. You reach that moment, and you're like, "Wow, I can go that fast. I'm not really going that fast right now. I need to pick it up."
Right.
And so, I mean, it really is just about getting to the point where you don't think you can go anymore, and then going further.
Well, a perfect example of that story, just recently there was an NFL fullback who, I don't know if you heard this story, but he took his yacht out for he set a course on the autopilot, and he was going to take the boat for service, I guess, and he sets a course on the autopilot towards the Bahamas, and then he was going to stop at a certain point and then loop back towards the coast and get some work done on his boat. Well, he's fishing by himself, no personal flotation device on, no emergency beacon on, which I guess is par for the course if you're out on the ocean by yourself. Well, a sneaker wave comes up and hits him, and he gets knocked out of the boat, and the autopilot's on, so the boat keeps going, and he's like, ah! And he claims, and people are saying that they don't believe this, but he says that he swam about 25 miles and made it back to shore at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and had to beat on somebody's door for help. I mean, he was naked. He had shed his clothing while he was swimming, like a reasonable person would do. But they were saying, like, dude, you're in your 40s. Like, you're not a trained swimmer.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that'd be hard for most distant swimmers ever. I don't know. I mean, depends if he's going, inland. I assume some of the waves are helping him out, carrying him.
Well, that's what they were saying, is that it really like people, long distance swimmers. I guess there's a forum online, and they're like, half of them are like, that's crap.
But those guys that swim to the Channel Islands and back, those are the guys that I would believe over that guy, just because I don't think he's qualified. I don't know. I mean, I assume the waves helped him out, though. I don't know. I'm pretty skeptical.
You just hearing that,
I'm just like, no, I don't feel that way.
You don't think you could swim 25 miles in the open water right now?
I don't think he could. I think I could do it once.
Do you think you would be digging down deep into the ugliest reserves?
I'd just go feral, man. That's it. Not thinking anything human. I'm just going to try and live.
And also some of the distance swimmers are saying, like, what you don't know is how salt water will straight up burn your face. Like, your tongue will swell. It's like dermabrasion against your face and eyes. Your eyes would be all puffy and crazy. Yeah. So there are dudes that swim to the Channel Islands.
Yeah, I mean, some people swim to the Channel Islands and back. Like, you can do it. You can swim to the Channel Islands and then you can swim back. What? Yeah. It really isn't that far away if you think about it.
Okay, but it's still in the open ocean.
Yeah, it's still open ocean, but you can see it. It's the things you can't see. Like, okay, I'm going to swim that way until I can maybe see an island 15 hours from now.
Have you ever felt like doing that?
No. Nope.
That going feral in that regard doesn't appeal to you?
No, that'd be like, that's the bottom of my soul. That is where I am the most basic as a person. Yeah, that is. I never want to reach that point. It's like a Wendigo. I don't want to reach that point of human nature. Like Donner Party. I don't ever want to get there.
No. I got lost once. Well, okay, this happened a couple times, but one time I was camping by myself, and this is before I was married and had children or anything. And I got lost, and it was pretty sketchy. And it was like a comedy of errors. Apparently, my flashlight had been left on all day in my pack. And then it got dark, and I had fallen asleep. and my campfire went out, and I woke up to take a leak, and I walked back into the brush, and I must have walked further than I could, and then I turned around. Remember when you were saying that it was pitch black out there? Same thing. And all of a sudden, like, I was wearing long johns and a T-shirt, and I had my boots on that I had just stepped into and didn't even lace up, and I was lost. Like, lost. And I must have walked in circles. I couldn't find anything. And finally, I just started walking downhill to the river, and I walked along the river until I heard cars. But it was a long night, dude. And I'll tell you what, some weird ideas go through your head.
I bet. That's some... Oh my God, man! That's what's the Blair Witch Project?
It was very Blair Witch.
It'd be like that.
And you know what's strange is I actually flagged down a car at about 3:00 in the morning. It was a dude going fishing at the river. And here I stepped out, long johns and a T-shirt, and he was like, "Are you okay?" And he was like a reserve sheriff's deputy, and he thought I was in shock. And I must have had a crazy look on my face because who knows? I mean, you go to sleep early when you're camping. I would estimate that I was walking around for about 5 hours, but under the impression that I was lost.
Oh yeah.
And like, is the mountain lion gonna find me? Am I giving off the fear smell?
Yeah.
And then you start, having feral thoughts. And like, yes, it was very strange. Eric, it's always a pleasure when we see you. When is your next competition?
Our next race or meet, is this Friday after. I think it's at 3. It's a home meet, so it's tomorrow. Yeah, yesterday was the day before.
Eric, all of a sudden I have an idea. We are going to have to talk about this further, but what if we had a Farolympics?
The Farolympics. That's clever.
Farolympics, where we take representatives of each BC Athletics team, and we create an insane Farolympics.
And they just have to do it.
Where it's like a straight-up death march challenge.
No time, just have to do it.
You just have to do it. Yeah, I like that. No time, but you have to complete it. There would be a run, of course.
Be a savage.
There would be a swim. How long do you think you could float it? We could make it like a 4-hour float in the pool.
Oh, my God.
Right?
Oh my God. Dude, that's sinister.
Yeah, right?
That's unholy, man. That's
we
not
will
cool.
we will discuss this further.
Definitely.
Beware. We're going to find the Farolympics.
We're
Coming
write
up
this down.
next, we're going from the feral intensity of Eric Wood to the very cultivated beauty of Angie Paquette and the Bakersfield College Foundation. She's going to tell us more about the red and white night and why building esprit de corps with your renegade spirit is very important. There's a lot to be had by being part of our team, and we'll tell you more about it next on the Renegade Report.